Why does everyone hate Blackpink now? It seems that since their hiatus and venture into solo careers, there's been a palpable online dislike of Blackpink. I remember a time on the internet where you couldn't say anything bad or even slightly critical about Blackpink without being swarmed by their army of fans. Now the tables have turned and the critics are louder than ever. I consider myself a Blackpink neutralist. Their songs to me were either kids bop or just a nice pop song. No in between. That's the scale I rank them on. And while I expected a little more out of their solo careers, at best, I think all their solo material has been middling thus far. My favorite solo release is still New Woman by Lisa. I know Rosé has been seen as the breakout star with her mega hit with Bruno Mars, but I can't fully get behind APT, and her album sounded too much like Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo. There are some decent songs on there though. But I still remember when one song in particular from her album came on, I was like, this is Taylor Swift. Like I had to do a double take. It is just a pure imitation of Swift. And more or less, I feel like all the Blackpink members have really struggled to find their niche as solo artists, some more than others. And perhaps they are better together, but will the popularity they had be sustained once they do come back together? Let's take a look at some of the controversies that have arisen during their hiatus and ventures into solo stardom. Two members of Blackpink performed at Coachella in 2025, Lisa and Jennie. Jennie, however, got completely trashed for her lack of breast support when she did sing, but she mostly got trashed for not singing at all and having poor stage presence. Meanwhile, Lisa's performance pretty much got ignored, and I think both reactions signify their weaknesses as performers outside of a group setting. When you're in a group, it's easier to camouflage your weaknesses on stage and have someone pick up your slack. That's not to say the ladies of Blackpink can't perform, because they certainly can, but clearly they need to work on navigating the stage as soloists. Meanwhile, Lisa had her moment in the fire with her 2025 Oscars performance, where she was met with criticism for her weak stage presence, lipped vocals, and some would say her misplacement. Her performance just felt very random. Here's the thing, Blackpink have never really been singers, that's not their appeal. Sure, the members can hold a tune here and there, but they are more about their energy as a pop star in the pop star package rather than the vocals, so it doesn't surprise me that they've lipped a lot. However, I think the criticism towards their vocal ability would be lessened if the overall performances were better. More controversy arose for the entire group once clips of multiple members saying the N-word hit the internet. Jennie, Lisa, and Rosie all have videos of them singing the N-word very casually in multiple songs. I will say the group's silence concerning these videos is awful. Even if they didn't mean the usage in a harmful intent, you have to recognize the usage, especially given that they have all benefited from black culture and black music. They have many songs where they are trying their hand at rapping and make AAVE sound like Kids Bop. I think the least they could have done is acknowledge this controversy. Then there was a misunderstood controversy that led Lisa of Blackpink to get backlash when she attended the Met Gala, with the theme being black tailoring. It was mistaken that Lisa had a picture of Rosa Parks on her underwear, which many deemed disrespectful and inappropriate. But it was later cleared up that it was not Rosa Parks. In a statement to Vulture, a spokesperson for Henry Taylor, an artist who collaborated on the Blackpink stars' Louis Vuitton look with Pharrell Williams, clarified that no civil rights pioneers were featured on Lisa's look whatsoever, despite online backlash that occurred when people mistakenly believed that Parks' image had been displayed on her underwear. The figure featured in Lisa's Louis Vuitton look is not Rosa Parks, but one of Henry's neighbors, the rep said. Jisoo is the only one that hasn't been caught in a line of fire, but the overwhelming conversations about Blackpink have been pretty unfavorable over the last year, which leads us to the music. I was mostly looking forward to Lisa's solo work because it appeared that she would be headed in the left field pop territory, but her debut album Alter Ego proved to be middling, safe, and at times downright irritating. All gloss, no fire. Also on her song Born Again with Doja Cat and Ray, Lisa sounds like the featured artist. I think that Jennie probably had the most consistent release with her album Ruby. It's not reinventing the wheel and is not all that interesting, but she does show a bit of personality and ventures off in a way that is unexpected for a Blackpink member, toying with a lot of R&B sounds. Extra L with Doechii is a decent song. Rosé had a massive hit with APT, but in hindsight it seems like a lot of that interest was carried by the People's Prince, Bruno Mars. She has struggled to recapture anything that comes close to the success of APT. It's not a bad song, but it does ride a very thin line of being a novelty song. Like if she wasn't Rosé from Blackpink and Bruno Mars wasn't featured on it, at its core it sounds like a textbook silly one-hit wonder song. Her other songs seem to ride too close to the Swiftian rule of pop. She adds nothing interesting to that style of pop either. Jisoo's EP Immortage is pretty typical inoffensive dance pop. So they've all had some big successes as solo artists, but no one has clearly emerged as a breakout act that has built singular legions of fan support. That's not to say that never will happen, but it hasn't. And that leads us to them as a group. K-pop has experienced a decline in popularity. Sales of physical albums declined for the first time in 9 years in 2024, as reported by a Korean magazine. Data from the Korea Music Content Association, Circle Chart, has revealed that physical album sales dropped to 98.9 million units last year from 120.2 million in 2023. The things with pop groups in general is that it is a very cyclical lifestyle for an artist, and groups come and go in waves. So it'll be interesting to see if Blackpink will continue to stick with their K-pop branding and style of videos and music, or venture out and bring some of their solo essence to the group.